Okay, I'm here to tell you about the new Create App Wizard that we're building in Apex 5.2. Again, with as other team members, safe harbor statements. Okay, so new Create App Wizard. This one is actually currently available from apex.oracle.com, and you can try out this new feature as an extension within apex.oracle.com by going into the workspace if you have one. If you don't have one, you can sign up for a workspace at our hosted external site. So before I move on, how many of you have tried new Create App Wizard? It's called Blueprint. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what can you do with the new Create App Wizard? We improved Create Application Wizard greatly. It gives nice, simple, intuitive interface for developers to define applications very easily. So you can create feature-rich applications really fast. You can have an option to set application styles. It also gives you option to set icons for application and pages. And also all these application definitions get saved as a blueprint. So if you come back again and create another app of previous ones, you can grab the prototype of the saved blueprints and load it and start from there. Another nice one is we built in a lot of commonly used application feature pages. What these are is, as we build packaged applications, other people have been asking us, these are nice, how can I build this within my app? There was no way for us to really give this to them because it involves a lot of coding, multiple pages. But what's nice about this new Create App Wizard is we provide these commonly used application features as part of the wizard. So you can just checkbox these feature frameworks from the wizard, such as access control, email, feedback, activity reporting, notifications, and things like that. So once you checkmark it, application will create those frameworks along with API logics that belongs to it. So it'll take a lot of efforts if you're to code it by yourself, but it's all automated behind the scene for you. So you don't have to really reinvent the wheel to have the same framework within your application. Last but not the least, it also includes a lot of UI defaults. So you can generate the application really usable at the end of creation because form controls, labels, format masks, and then LOVs that you've defined within the UI defaults get integrated within the wizard. So you don't have to really tweak the application at the end, because as long as you have the UI defaults or from an existing app that you have a nice label designed already, it picks it up for you. So it really, you don't have to spend a lot of time. You just have to focus on adding more business logics within your application. UI defaults, such as if you have a department table, column name can be dname, so it's not readable to end users, but UI defaults can be names as department, then it picks up that label to the report and form and things like that. As many of you know already, Apex is a data-first development platform. So what that means is you can begin application creation by using existing data model, or you can create a new data model by designing by yourself from scratch. So if you're starting new from designing from scratch, you have several options. Apex, you may have used it already. You can create an application from a spreadsheet by loading a table and spreadsheet data into a table and using that within the application. There's something new that our team offers as a free service from Oracle, which is called Quick SQL. If you go to Quick SQL, you can use short hand syntax, which does not require a lot of wordings to design tables and its relationships. Also, it provides ability to generate sample data out from the box. Another way to design data model is by going into SQL Developer, Data Modeler to design that data model. So once you have the data model, you can generate the table DDLs out from it, run that DDL against the database, and you have all these database objects. If you use Quick SQL, you probably generate insert statements for the sample data, then you can have those data to test out your application. So once the database objects are set, you'll come into this new Create App wizard to create feature-rich application really fast. And usually you share that URL to others. So let's say you want to go through the testing stage of that application, share that URL to testing users or user acceptance test team members to test out your application, give you the feedback. Once you receive the feedback, you modify, enhance your application. And once that's complete, you can export, import within one file and deploy to the production. So that's usually the life cycle of the application development, and I call it low-code app development process within Apex. So I'm gonna show you the new Create App wizard by going through this low-code app development process. So let's go into the demo. Okay, so first, I'll come in to Quick SQL. The way to get to that site is quicksql.oracle.com. Once you go in there, it may be new to you. It doesn't require a lot of wordings, but if you wanna create departments table, you can do this by entering in some name of the table name, and column names can be included as well. But since I don't know the syntax, you can get that syntax help by clicking on that syntax icon. And once you do that, it gives you nice help text about how to define columns, how to define data types and things like that. But what's nice about it is if you're pretty new, you can load these samples that Quick SQL provides already. So there are several samples that I can select from. The one that I'm interested in is employees skills sample. And if you want to view the entity relationship diagram, you can click on view diagram, and this gives nice ERD. So I have this departments table for each department. There are many employees, and for each employee, there is, if I can minimize this, multiple skills for each employees. So let me load this sample to Quick SQL. When you do this, it gave me sample Quick SQL syntax. So if I go over this a little bit here, here's the departments and the columns along with it, employees and skills table. And the way to insert sample data within Quick SQL is you do insert syntax in there. So right now it's only generating 10 rows. So let me increase that rows by hundreds. And right here, the values clause, if you can see this, let me expand. There can be developer skills, can be C++, Java, but what's important today is Apex, right? So I named some Apex skills in here. When you view on the right side of the panel, based on that syntax that you entered on the left side, it automatically generated table DDL statements, also some insert statements to insert the sample data. But to make this demo little fun, let's change some of the settings that Quick SQL gives you an option for. So if you click on settings, sample data can be generated in German or Korean or Japanese. So far, we support those 4 languages. So since we're in Germany, let's generate the sample data in Dutch. And I'm going to include the drop table statements and Apex enable, the scripts, And when you save this, and I want to verify if we really generated sample data in German, let's go in and scroll down. As you can see, the location names are in cities in Germany, and the country is the German country here. And if you scroll more down to the employees table, you can see their jobs are in German. So I'm pretty happy with this script. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this and carry it over to Apex so I can create these database objects that I can start the application from. So I happen to have an account here on apex.oracle.com. So let me log in.
Yeah.
Yes?
Tell us how you generated those texts. Where did those texts came from?
It text came from so QuickSQL uses this fuzzy logic. Based on your column name, it knows how to handle those texts from the sample arrays that we defined within the package. So there are random text of lorem ipsum, like Latin language, if you're generating in English, but same thing of lorem ipsum is entered in German, Korean, or Japanese. Some random names, not real people's name, but random names are entered in within the package, so it knows smartly how to figure that out. Yeah, okay? So in Apex, you can generate these tables by going into SQL workshop and defining scripts. So I happen to have something that I tested. Let me delete that out. Okay, let's name this as load sample and paste this in here. And when you click on run, it's gonna parse all the table details and DML statements. Notice how many statements this script contains. I only entered less than 20 lines, but in Apex, it generated 417 statements. When you run it, it's gonna create, well, it was quick, so I didn't have the tables before, so it errored out because table does not exist, but table created, there are some rows that got inserted. Seems like everything went well. So now, since I have all this database objects and table data that I'm satisfied with, I'm gonna jump into the new Create App wizard. When you click on this blueprint, it's gonna load nice one-page layout where you can define pages, name the application, change theme styles of each. So let's name this application as Apex Day Frankfurt. If you click on this appearance of this application, there are multiple ones that universal theme supports. So I'm gonna just create this application in gray look. As I told you before, you can define application icons, and this gets used in the login screen. Anybody have preferences of favorite colors? I'll take it in. Red? Okay. How about the icons that belong to it? Cloud. Sounds good. All right. So that gets saved. But here I'm gonna enter, it defines some pages that I wanna draw out from those tables that I loaded. So first one, I want to have jet chart page, which Hillary went over before. And when you click on it, it's gonna prompt me with the table name. So let's name this, sorry, my mouse. So let's name this as skills. And I wanna view the skills in pie charts by selecting this skills table. Label the pie chart with skills, and you wanna count all the employees that has these skills. And notice these page icons right here, it defaults based on your page types, and this actually gets used in generation by navigating into different pages. And it's very useful because it generates nice UI and shows you what type of page you're about to click into. Okay, another one will be some report, will be nice. So this one will be showing employees record by selecting the employees table. I'll include the form to edit these table. Another one is every table can have a foreign key to it, but instead of showing that ID column, you can define a lookup within the report, within the wizard, so the report generation comes out really nicely out of the box. And another different kinds of report that we offer is the cards report. So if you have a business card kind of look, it lays out that report data with rectangles. So let's define this cards report showing all the departments. And I'll show name and location. And here, you have the ability to link to the report page. If I can go, let's resize this. So cards page can have a link to different report pages by sending the ID of the department to the employees report page that I just defined, and it'll pass department ID column in the link. So let's add that. And once you're satisfied, you can create this app. And what it's doing is it's taking in all the information that I entered in the wizard, and it's creating the charts page, report and form page, and all the UI defaults. If you opted in to pick up the UI defaults, it picked it up for you. So it looks like generation is done. This is so sensitive. Okay, so notice the red cloud icon that we picked during the wizard got picked up. And once you log in, it included these 3 pages that I defined. And here's a nice jet pie charts. And 9% of the employee skills is the CSS. So I want to analyze this data without the CSS skills. If you do that, the pie chart moves without that skill set. Another one is the department's report, which we generated in cards view. We defined the link to the employees, but it happens to be there's no employees underneath this. So let's try to find one that may have something. Okay, so there seems to be some employees underneath that department. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this and come back to the builder and show you what Create App did on the first iteration of my prototype. So when you come back to the Create App wizard, if you click on Blueprint, load Blueprint, it knows that you walked through that wizard once and what was the name of it and how many pages there were. If you click on Load, instead of you starting from the scratch, you can quickly start on another variation of that same application by going into this. So I noticed that the departments actually is the parent table, but employees is a child. So I want to reorder this page by moving the departments page little upward by dragging and drop. Let's add little more additional advanced pages here. So I'm gonna add another report page. Sorry. This one will show the skills table into a report layout. So instead of viewing the data in charts, let's view it in the report. And here we'll define another lookup that will show nice employee names instead of the ID. Another one will be nice is the master detail layout. So you have an option of laying out master detail into classic one or using the interactive grid. Since we have seen some interactive grid master detail pages, maybe from the sample that you walked through, let's just define the classic one, the new one that wizard lets you define. So this one, let's say department employees. And master table is the department. And the detail table will be the employees' data. Okay, so in the middle part right here is the feature framework, which I mentioned that it's really automated. So mundane tasks of designing these pages are really automated behind the scene that you don't have to really code it yourself. For example, if you want to include access control within your app, you can select this. Or if you want to include activity reporting, you can select this. But if you like to try all, you can check everything to include within this app. Since I created the same name before, the framework table prefix that it's going to generate, that this application is going to use, I'm going to name it a little differently. Okay, looks like it's all good. Let's try to create this application. It's going to take a little longer than before because we included 2 additional pages and multiple framework pages and API logics that application needs to generate. But I guess it was fast. So let's try to run this. And notice that it included 2 additional page layouts. Now, instead of viewing the chart of employee skills, you can view it in the report. So I want to find anyone that has Apex skills. 1 being is the beginner, but 5 is the expert. So let's try to find experts of Apex. And there are 5 different people who has expert Apex skills. So let's save this report as Apex experts. And when you save it as a public, it can be shared with others so people can view who are the experts on that skills. Here's the master detail page that it generated. So as you navigate through the master record, you can see that departments and employees records are changing. So it's only showing the employees that belong to that department. You can search the master record by entering in some search text. When you enter in departments within the Frankfurt, you can view that these are the departments that belong to that city. So one of the feature framework that we generated out of the box by just check marking within the wizard is the application settings. And what application settings is, if you want to change this name of the application to something else that's useful, since this only contains employees, where it belongs, and the skills table, Apex State Frankfurt is not really fitting this application name. So let's try to rename this application to employee skills. And as soon as you do that, notice that names of application got changed on left hand, and the home page also changed that application settings. So now you're actually ready to give this URL to the test user to test out, or user acceptance test user to test out this application. So let's say that user goes in and tries to access that application with the URL. It's prompting that user with a login. So I happen to have a test user account here in my workspace. So let's enter that user account and log in. When you do that, the test user is not an admin, so built-in ACL kicked in. You don't see the admin menu on the left, but other things he can view, the pages that you added for him, and also the report that you saved, shared will show up. So he'll know who are the experts in Apex. But when he was trying to use this, it was too gray. So by going into the feedback framework that Wizard generated, this person enters in a feedback saying, please change the UI to red, and with a sad face. So feedback gets submitted. And now when I come back as an admin account, I go into the admin UI, and there is a report that I can view. What are the feedbacks that user entered? So I can see that a person entered in the feedback saying, it's too gray, I want the red. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the settings by going into theme style selection and change into red from the UI. Hopefully you can view this from the back. And then apply changes. When you do, the gray look all of a sudden changes to red, and the feedback person gets informed with this UI change. Now, when he comes to this browser and tries to reload this app, he gets to see the same red look that you changed in the settings. Another nice one is I happen to include the activity reporting of the framework feature in the wizard. And it creates nice dashboard of activities that user is viewing within this app. You can time it within 2 hours or 1 day. But since I'm the only one who has been accessing it, there hasn't been not much of the activities. But you can see what pages were accessed most. You can view the top users report. It gives by default the report layout. Or you can view it in the chart view. And of course, I'm the one who used it most, but test user there were some usage from the test user as well. There are other feature frameworks that you can try out, but that's pretty much it probably, if I want to not go over hour. So let's stop at that demo. There's one more. So if you're done with this application testing and you're satisfied with this application, next step is you deploy this application to production server. But before you do that, since I have the feedback enabled here, I don't want to enable feedback in the production. So what I'm going to do is you go into the configurations. And right here, it gives all the options of disabling all of these feature frameworks. So anything that relates to that feature framework gets disabled. So I'm going to disable feedback here and apply changes. Then notice that feedback settings that I could check from the admin is gone now. When you come to the user page, this feedback icon, as soon as I reload, users don't have an ability to enter feedback anymore. So it's a nice, easy configuration from the runtime. But that can be possible through the framework packages and UIs that you included within the wizard. So that's about it. Within the new Create App wizard, I've shown you how it works on our external hosted site. We're actually integrating the same wizard within Apex 5.2. Shakib here and Kyle, who didn't make it today to our team meeting, 3 of us are working as a team to integrate this in the new release of Apex. So it's gonna be burned in within the builder, not only available on our hosted site. And that's about it. Thank you. Any questions?